Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in for another video in our Fact series where we bring you the knowledge on each one of Prince's albums. If you haven't already, please subscribe and hit the bell for notifications. Today, we are going to look at an album that was considered a return to form for Prince. It marked a new way of thinking for a new decade, with a new sound and a new band. Of course, we're talking about 1991's smash hit album, Diamonds and Pearls. Let's do this. Fact number 1. Let's start with the basics. Diamonds and Pearls was released in October 1991. It was the first album credited to both Prince and a band since Parade in 1986. After 5 years of solo credit albums, Prince had a new band, the New Power Generation, and was eager for a return to more collaborative work. And we mean truly collaborative. For example, drummer Michael Bland plays on 9 of the 13 songs on this album. Levi Caesar played bass on 6 songs and guitar on 2 more. And of course, it's hard to imagine this album at all without the significant vocal contributions of rapper Tony M and singer Rosie Gaines. Fact number 2. So, although Graffiti Bridge was technically the first album of the 90s as we mentioned in the last video, all of the tracks bar one on that album were recorded in the 80s, with most of them dating back to the mid-80s of that, having been pulled from the vault and revamped. Diamonds and Pearls flips that around, with the majority of the material having been recorded in 1990, and 0 tracks being pulled up from the vault, making this an album of all new material. But as we know, Prince tended to have made progress on his next albums before the release of the prior one, so it's not surprising that 2 of the songs on this album were actually recorded before Graffiti Bridge had even been released. Those 2 songs, Diamonds and Pearls the title track, and Live for Love. Fact number 3. If you've been paying attention to this series, you'll know that Prince had a habit of recording the first singles from an album at the last minute. He'd done this with Purple Rain, again with Graffiti Bridge, and Diamonds and Pearls is another we can add to this list. The first single, of course, was Get Off, recorded in May 1991. A fun fact about this is that the album was pretty much wrapped in Prince's head before the recording of Get Off. Get Off wasn't intended for public release nor to be on Diamonds and Pearls. Prince had simply pressed 1,500 vinyls and distributed them to DJs on his 33rd birthday, 7th of June 1991. Of course, what ended up happening was that the reaction to the song was hugely positive, and the track started gaining steam. So at the last minute, the song Horny Pony was pulled from the album, replaced with Get Off, which officially became the first single from the then upcoming album. Not only that, Prince was so enthused with the song that he recorded multiple versions of it, including Violet the Organ Grinder and Gangsta Glam, and then filmed videos for each different version, releasing them all on the Get Off videotape. And that wasn't the only video release either. Prince would also put out the Diamonds and Pearls video collection, which contained the videos for Get Off, Cream, Diamonds and Pearls, Called the Law, Willing and Able, Insatiable, Strollin', and Money Don't Matter Tonight, plus live footage of Thunder, Jughead, Live for Love, and a cover of Dr. Feelgood by Aretha Franklin. The sheer amount of music videos made and made available for this era makes it one of the most heavily documented albums of Prince's entire career. Fact number 4. We mentioned that in the run-up to this album, Prince officially formalized the band he'd began assembling in the Graffiti Bridge era as the New Power Generation. But there were 2 key people from previous eras that made brief appearances on this album, despite no longer being in the band. Sheila E. allegedly performed synth drum fills on the title track but is not credited for them, and Eric Leeds plays flute on Get Off. And there's one more person heavily involved in previous eras that makes a contribution, and that's Claire Fisher's orchestration on the song Push. However, Claire did no new recordings for the Diamonds and Pearls songs, and this orchestration was sampled from a previously recorded and unused piece. Fact number 5. Given her vital role on the song, it might surprise some to know that Rosie Gaines actually did not feature on the original recording of the song Diamonds and Pearls. The first version only had vocals from Prince, and can be found circulating on bootlegs. It almost feels like a different song, with different meaning when it's just Prince on the vocals, and although in my opinion it doesn't match up to the final version, it's still very interesting to hear the additional Prince vocals that were ultimately replaced by Rosie. Fact number 6. After the failure of Graffiti Bridge at the box office, Prince really needed a hit. He needed a huge commercial album with plenty of big singles to reclaim his place at the top of the pop world. So, he made a genius move and brought in Michael Jackson's former manager, Frank DiLeo, to mastermind the release and promotional strategy for this album. Frank was considered a huge element of Michael's success in the 80s, and his impact on the success of Thriller and Bad is well known in the music business. With Frank on board, Prince got what he needed, and Diamonds and Pearls ended up selling more than 5 million records. This planted the album firmly into the public consciousness, with high-profile TV appearances and music videos, and many of the songs from this album stayed as mainstays in Prince's live shows for the rest of his career. Fact number 7, the final fact. If you're familiar with the song Jughead, you might be familiar with Tony M's rap at the end of the song that goes on the attack against shady music managers. This section actually comes from a song that Tony had already made called Money Matters or Money Minders before he even joined the NPG. Now, in a bizarre twist of events, Prince's former manager Steve Fargnoli filed a lawsuit against Prince over this section, alleging it was a direct attack on him and violated the terms of his and Prince's non-disclosure agreement. This was a very bizarre incident, given that it was Tony, not Prince, that had written this part, and that Tony had never directly worked with Fargnoli at all. And that's it for another deep dive into the facts you didn't know. Hope you enjoyed this video. Let us know what your favorite song on Diamonds and Pearls is. Don't forget to like the video, drop us a comment, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for notifications. And we'll catch you next time. Peace and be wild.
Hi, I'm Elisa Fiorillo, and you're watching The Violet Reality on YouTube. All things Prince!